The town hall meeting was an opportunity for Nigerian physicians in the United States to vent their frustrations and demand explanations from top government officials and private sector players present over the lingering issues of decay in Nigeria's healthcare system. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido, set the tone for the meeting with some mind-boggling statistics.
India issues about 35,000 medical visas every year to Nigerians. The UK does about 40,000. Egypt about 15,000, and Dubai in the region of 33,000. So just think about how much we spend on visas, on medical bills, on airline, transportation, hotels, and so on, and think what that would do to the economy if it was retained.
Other speakers faulted the political process that has over the years run down the sector with very little investment.
For this year, I think it's about 5% that is allocated to health. But even then, there are very many components of that. Allocation is not the same as release.
And then the other thing is in technology, there's a huge technology gap as well. So not only there was no investment, there's also a technology gap.
But with over 5,000 Nigerian physicians blazing the trail in the United States and God knows how many elsewhere, experts believe Nigeria could be a medical destination country with their collaboration.
Like telecom and power, it's as if when we fool around onto something almost breaks down completely. And then the solution that we embrace is greater involvement of the private sector. I think that's going to happen as well in healthcare.
Many of you here, because of your Nigerian background, still think Nigeria. But I can't say the same thing of your children, who are far more detached. And if we lose this bracket, I think it's going to be phenomenally more difficult for medical rebirth in Nigeria.
For many of the doctors abroad, the change can only start with a political will.
Healthcare is actually supposed to be a responsibility of government. And if government cannot do it, private sector can contribute. But it must not be taken away from government because that is their responsibility.
There are a lot of things that the government needs to do. The government has to really realize that providing healthcare is not only a social service, but it's also an economic activity.
After all said and done, there is a consensus here. And that is the fact that it will take a lot more than mere words to get the private sector or Nigerian professionals in diaspora more involved in the improvements of the Nigerian healthcare sector or any sector for that matter. Again, it boils down to the right policies and enabling environments, the right frameworks for the private sector to thrive and be more involved. Doris Okenwa, reporting for Channels Television News from Charlotte, North Carolina.